Cyberpunk 2077 is more than neon streets, cyberware, and corporate wars. It's a story about identity, trust, and what it means to be human in a world losing its soul. At its heart are Johnny Silverhand and V, two souls trapped together whose struggle for control becomes a journey of empathy, growth, and heartbreak. The game explores survival and power under the shadow of megacorporations that crush individuals' dreams and manipulate life itself. V's fight is not just to survive, but to maintain their humanity, make meaningful choices, and navigate relationships that test loyalty, morality, and trust. At its core, Cyberpunk asks what it truly means to stay human in a world designed to strip you of your soul, while also exploring deeper philosophical questions about identity, consciousness, free will, and transhumanism, the merging of humans with technology. Before we get into the video, spoilers and heavy themes ahead. This video touches on some key story points from Cyberpunk 2077. Two souls, one body. When the relic puts Johnny inside of V's head, the conflict isn't just about survival, it's about identity. V wants to live, to survive the impossible odds she's been dealt, and to become a legend in Night City, and making the most of her shortened life and being remembered for who she truly is. Johnny has already died. He's desperate to prove he was more than a washed-up rocker boy clinging to old glory. His rage is still fueled by revenge against Arasaka. Their shared body forces constant negotiation. V struggles to stay herself, while Johnny pushes his ego, ideals, and vendetta, arguing internally over decisions, morality, and how to face the dangers of Night City. For a moment, the game touches on ego death, losing yourself in another. Johnny and V experience a kind of soul union, a yin and yang connection, where two very different forces clash, merge, and shape each other. It's messy, intense, and sometimes painful, but it pushes them to grow, confront their flaws, and see themselves in new ways. Their bond becomes a kind of spiritual mirror, reflecting fears, regrets, and the potential for transformation. A visible sign of their psyches merging is V picking up Johnny's habits, most notably smoking. While the player can at first choose whether V smokes, Johnny's growing influence can lead V to adopt the habit naturally over time. Beyond smoking, Johnny's humor, impulses, and philosophy seep into V's personality, shaping reactions, dialogue, and even choices. These moments of shared influence highlight both tension and merging of their psyches. Johnny's experience sometimes saves V, while V's actions push Johnny to confront his past. Smoking serves as a narrative device, symbolizing Johnny's presence within V and the gradual intertwining of their identities. The man behind the legend. Johnny Silverhand's story starts in hardship. Born Robert John Linder on November 16, 1988, in College Station, Texas, he endured a childhood marked by abuse and neglect. His father abandoned him early, just at 4 years old. His father sold him for a pack of cigarettes. He eventually found his way to a nomad family, which provided him with a semblance of community, though his time with them was filled with violence. It shaped his early years. In 2003, at 15, he lied about his age to join the military. He eventually left after realizing the conflicts were corrupt and immoral, becoming a deserter. During that period, he also lost his arm in the ensuing conflict. He received a cybernetic silver arm to replace it, which became a constant reminder of the corruption and violence he had left behind. Distanced himself from his past and shed his former identity, he took on the name Johnny Silverhand. This transformation marked the birth of the rebellious rocker boy who would fight against corporate power. After leaving the military, Johnny formed Samurai, the most influential chrome rock band of its time. On stage, he wasn't just a musician, he was a symbol of rebellion, using music as a weapon against the system. But this was also where his ego thrived. Samurai's fame amplified Johnny's arrogance and narcissism. Johnny obsesses over destroying corporations, but rarely considers the collateral damage. Before his death, he also struggled with drug addiction and alcoholism, destructive habits that strained his relationships and pushed him deeper into the cycle of self-destruction. Many also believe Johnny to be one of the earliest cases of cyberpsychosis, someone whose cyberware, addictions, and trauma pushed him dangerously close to the edge, yet he remained highly functioning, never fully losing himself, and still being able to pursue his goals. At the heart of Johnny's trauma is the loss of Alt Cunningham, 2013. Alt wasn't just Johnny's lover, she was one of the most skilled netrunners of her era, and the original developer of the infamous Soul Killer program. After Arasaka kidnapped her, they forced her to create an advanced version of Soul Killer for their own use. They made Alt its very first victim. Once the program was complete, Arasaka used Soul Killer on Alt, leaving her body vulnerable and trapping her consciousness inside their mainframe. While she fought to take over the system from within, Johnny staged a rescue. But his reckless decision to unplug her severed the last link to her body, and her physical form died, and her digital self was stranded in the net, surviving only as a powerful engram. After Johnny's reckless attempt to save Alt severed her last connection to her body, her engram reached out to him from the net, revealing she was still trapped in Arasaka's systems. Alt had warned Johnny not to come, but he couldn't let go, and he was haunted by the choice that cost her her life. Knowing she was still imprisoned inside of Arasaka's mainframe opened a wound that never healed, fueling his obsession with rescuing her no matter the cost. That's why when the chance came in 2023, the assault on Arasaka Tower wasn't just about rebellion or vengeance. It was about saving Alt, and finally undoing the mistake that haunted him. His arrogance masked the weight of his guilt as he drowns himself in alcohol, violence, and fleeting connections. Outwardly, he blames others, but deep down, he knows Alt's fate was tied to his recklessness. Johnny Silverhand's aggressive, arrogant rocker boy persona is a mask, an alter ego forged to escape the pain he can't face. Johnny Silverhand's motivation. When Johnny joined the 2023 Arasaka Tower assault, his motivations were a mix of personal vengeance and rebellious idealism. On one hand, he wanted to strike a blow against Arasaka, a corporation he saw as the embodiment of corruption and oppression. But at its core, his motive was deeply personal, to rescue Alt Cunningham, whose consciousness has been trapped in the net since 2013. Saving Alt wasn't just about love, it was about redemption. About undoing the mistake that haunted him for years, this reckless mission ultimately led to his death. Now in 2077, being inside of V's head gives Johnny a chance to finally face himself. For the first time since his death, someone pushes back, someone who won't let him hide behind his ego, and forces him to reckon with the consequences of his past. Slowly, he starts moving from selfish destruction towards real empathy. Sharing a mind with V forces him to confront his mistakes and reflect on how he's treated others. V's influence helps him open up, show regret, and reconnect with people from his past, guiding him to face the parts of himself he's been running from for years. This slow but genuine transformation reveals the vulnerable Robert John Linder beneath the Johnny persona. Part of facing his past is about making amends and finding redemption. V helps Johnny get back together with his old samurai bandmates, Gary, Nancy, and Denny, for one last show. It's a moment of closure, letting him and his friends honor their history while finally moving on. He also reconnects with Rogue, taking her on a date. Now Johnny is self-aware. He admits that he messed up and shows genuine regret for the narcissistic, emotionally abusive partner he once was. He can finally acknowledge and take responsibility for his actions. And if the choices line up right, Johnny has a chance to give Alt an emotional apology and express true remorse for everything that has happened. One of the most important moments comes during the chip-in quest at his gravesite. How V talks to him here can make or break his redemption. If V says, "The guy who saved my life," Johnny realizes his fight against the corporations was more about personal grudges than ideals. He finally starts caring about someone else, V, in a way that goes beyond his own ego, moving from a self-absorbed, narcissistic man to a friend who genuinely cares. The ending you choose matters too. Showing just how far he's come, in the Temperance ending, if Johnny takes control of V's body, he gets a second chance at life. He leaves Night City behind to find a quieter, more meaningful path, fully owning his past mistakes. It's a different kind of closure. It still represents his learning, growing, and trying to do better. And that's just scratching the surface. There's so much more to Johnny as a character, and I'll be diving deeper into all of it in a future video. V's identity. V, unlike Johnny, is fluid. Their personality, morality, and relationships are shaped by the player, though certain events remain canon. Known canon, V was born on October 12th, 2053. They go by the alias V, but their real name is Valerie or Vincent, which only people extremely close to them are allowed to use. Johnny is the only one who eventually does this later in the game. V is a mercenary, building a strong reputation, and by the end of the game, they become one of the best in Night City. At their core, V struggles to assert their individuality in a world that constantly tries to erase it. They have a fierce sense of loyalty, especially towards those they care about, like Jackie. And dialogue choices throughout the game often showcase a sharp, sarcastic sense of humor that defines her character. V's fight isn't just against Arasaka, it's against the Relic, Johnny, and the chaos of Night City itself. Over the course of the game, V eventually stops fighting Johnny, showing growth of trust and understanding in their shared journey. The choices they make and the compromises they accept ultimately shape who V becomes. The Lover's Tarot card. The Lover's achievement appears when V steals the relic from Konpeki Plaza. The achievement references the Lover's Tarot card, which symbolizes difficult, life-altering choices and the need to find balance in opposing situations. The card reflects contradictions and internal struggles, like the tensions between V and Johnny, and also speaks to connection and sacrifices. with the two skeletons hinting at the risk and potential losses that come with deep bonds. The Lover's card represents them perfectly. Two very different people forced together, clashing and learning to trust, relying on each other even when it's painful. Beyond romance, it represents the powerful, sometimes dangerous connections made in Night City. At its core, the card is about finding inner balance through chaos and navigating the choices that shape who we are. The Lovers is also the card of dilemmas. Much like the Fool standing at the crossroads, unable to choose a path. There's a whole layer of symbolism in the tarot cards throughout Cyberpunk 2077, and I'd love to dive deeper into how each card reflects a story and the bond between V and Johnny in a dedicated video. The relationship, gradual growth. Their bond isn't instant. It's built on conflict, betrayal, and gradual trust. At the start of the game, Johnny wants V dead, even attacking her and showing little regard for her survival. Over time, moments of care begin to deepen their connection. He helps her when the relic nearly kills her, opens up emotionally about his past, and at the Pistis Sophia, he gives her his dog tags. That gesture, asking if she would take a bullet for him, solidifies their trust and friendship. Johnny considers V closer to him than anyone else, and would even sacrifice himself to protect her. Her presence grounds him, and their connection is built on mutual understanding despite his past and flaws. Their dynamic transforms both characters. Johnny learns empathy and selflessness. V learns resilience, trust, and moral responsibility. Their bond is delicate, life-altering push and pull that defines both of them. Johnny's grave. They discover Johnny was buried in the oil field, unmarked and forgotten. He's disappointed, feeling invisible, like he never existed, and wonders what could be on a proper headstone. He tells him it should read, "Here lies Johnny Silverhand, the guy who saved my life." To Johnny, that small act means everything. V leaves her mark, writing his name on a bench to honor him. When V asks if he still feels suffocated, Johnny admits that sometimes he feels free when he wakes up in the morning, like he's alive again. But then he realizes something important is missing. V. A wave of relief washes over him when he realizes she's still there, showing the depth of his emotional growth and permanent impact she has had on him. Johnny is an unreliable narrator. Johnny's memories are fragmented, exaggerated. He believes he led the nuclear attack on Arasaka Tower, and that Saburo Arasaka interrogated him before soul-killing him, but the truth is more complicated. Adam Smasher cut Johnny in half with a shotgun, while he was on his way to confront Morgan Blackhand, who actually handled the nuke. Before escaping the tower, Spider Murphy tried to save Johnny's life by performing the soul kill on his dying body, preserving his consciousness. In reality, Johnny's role at the tower was limited to creating a diversion and leading a small team to reach Alt Cunningham. But in his mind, he inflates his sacrifice. The relic's unstable integrity, combined with Arasaka's manipulation of his engram, Johnny's cyberpsychosis, radiation exposure, time spent in Mikoshi, Arasaka's data fortress for digitized minds, the copying of his engram onto a prototype relic, and V getting shot in the head during the heist, all further distort his memories. These factors, along with Johnny's ego and trauma, make him a deeply unreliable narrator. He genuinely believes in his own legend, even when it doesn't match reality. He isn't trying to lie, he truly sees the story that way. Johnny and V's story isn't about winning or happy endings. It's about two souls trapped in a world that never gives them a break. Johnny moves from reckless ego to rare moments of selflessness, haunted by his past and the legend he can't quite live up to. V struggles to stay herself, to hold on to her humanity, and the sense of right and wrong. But every choice comes with pain and loss. Their victories are small, their sacrifice is huge. Like the Lover's tarot card, their connection is full of conflict, trust, and betrayal. Fragile and tragic in a world that keeps testing them. Cyberpunk is heartbreaking, and so is V's journey. A story of struggle, loss, and fragile hope. Haunted by the fear of being forgotten and the fear of her own mortality. The game shows V facing the weight of life and death. A character who feels like a ghost trying to make peace with her choices, where the thought of being erased or forgotten is terrifying. There's honestly so much more I could talk about with Cyberpunk 2077, but I'll leave it here for now. I'd love to make more videos like this, whether it's other characters, hidden stories, or philosophical or spiritual ideas. Let me know in the comments what you'd like to see next. And thank you so much for watching.
Not asking you to never give up. Sometimes, you gotta let go. Just don't let anyone change who you are, okay? Good night, Valerie. Today was a good day.